Hello, Julie. I'm Jacob. And everyone else, welcome to Shook Book, the vlog in which two actors discuss books that in one way or another leave them shook. I am excited to talk to you. First of all, I found a book in the middle of the road the other day, Cell by Stephen King. I found it in Northville, Michigan, so if you're watching this and you accidentally threw a novel out the window, you can come pick it up. Julie, that was a great video that you posted, and I loved your question at the end of whether, in order to feel connected to our ancestors, we feel as though we need to be connected to that group or part of the group. And I feel that. I was raised a Mormon, and Mormons care deeply about their ancestors, but there's also a lot of emphasis on the role in which your ancestors play in the narrative of Mormonism. And it can feel as though you don't give very much attention to the ancestors that don't directly or in some obvious way connect to the narrative of Mormonism. So it's definitely made me feel like in order to connect with my family, I have to continue to participate in Mormonism in some way. It reminded me of this book, All Who Go Do Not Return by Shulem Deen. He was raised as a Hasidic Jewish person and eventually left the faith for reasons similar to myself. And so there are a lot of parallels in his experience. There's a section where he talks about community, a few different sections. So here's one early on when he's a young man. He's at an event where there is a symbolic kind of ritual going on. There's a crowd there that is singing while the rabbi is performing his duties. The crowd took up a tune, again, starting out weakly singing, their faces growing stronger with each stanza. The song came to an end, and the crowd took it up again from the beginning. Some of the men appeared to be weeping, the boys around me swaying vigorously with their eyes closed. Even the children stood remarkably solemn, all eyes on the Rebbe. And here's some lyrics to the song. Let him remember their love, and keep alive their seed, so that the remnant of Jacob will not be lost. For the sheep of a faithful shepherd has been put to humiliation, Israel, one nation, to scorn and mockery. The last part of the song was directed to God himself, as if our restraint had dissolved, the passion of our cry warranting the bypass of heavenly bureaucracy. And then here's the lyric that's directed to God. Answer us speedily, God of our salvation. Redeem us from all harsh decrees. Save with your bountiful mercy your righteous anointed one and your nation. He goes on. There were more songs, slow tunes, and lively ones, some set to words, and others only a steady stream of yadi-da-dee-die. I found myself swept up in the energy, joining hands with the boys beside me, lifting my feet with them, and stomping on the floorboards, sharing in their exuberance, smelling the sweat of their bodies and tasting the sherayim of their Rebbe's food. For the first time, I understood the tish, not as something a teacher or parent declared important, but as something experiential and inexpressible. It was some combination of the people, the food, the bodies, pressed tightly together in swaying unison, the Hasidim's warm smiles that inexplicably captivated me. For the very first time, it occurred to me that being a Hasid allowed for more than the daily grind of studying Talmud and adhering to the minutiae of our religious laws. Here was the ecstasy and the joy. Here was all that I had been told that we Hasidim once had and lost. The teachings of the Baal Shem Tov have been forgotten, the old Rebbe of Satmar had famously said. But here, among the Skeverers, certain subcategory of Hasidim, they appeared not to be forgotten at all. It was soon after that evening that, if anyone asked, I would say, I am a Skeverer. Some people may hear that segment that I just read and be sort of weirded out, like, whoa, like I don't know what it's like to be in a group like that and like swaying, and it sounds, I don't know, it sounds weird. But for me, it's evidence that religion gives us a reason and facilitates an opportunity to connect in an intimate way with each other that no other institution could facilitate or encourage. There would be no other reason to have the kind of ritualistic moment that these people are having, other than a belief in some kind of divine injunction to do so. And I really wish there were more of those things outside of religion. I struggle to believe in religion, but I want to feel connected and want to be able to do things that have metaphorical and symbolic resonance. I want to be able to have an intimate connection with my friends and family, um, and participate in things that acknowledge the meaning of our unified hearts and the efforts that we are unitedly undertaking together. For those reasons, I have worked really hard to talk to my family encouragingly about their faith and beliefs, even though I struggle to believe in the same way I used to. I want to continue to be part of their religious life. And it means a great deal to me. I hope as we continue on in the future that all of us can find a place within our family's narrative and in our family's lives, despite whatever differences we may have. And I think there are ways in which we can participate with each other even if we don't agree on the particulars. I hope you're doing well. I feel shook and I want to get a book. You're great and America needs to read. Bye-bye.